Hey, I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
We're the Rambling Reviewers.
And today we're looking at the little bit end of, we think maybe it's the end, we're not sure, of Season 5 of Steven Universe.
Specifically the episode Legs from Here to Homeworld.
Which caught us by surprise.
Yeah, we kind of didn't realize that this was a thing.
And for all we know, there might be another episode. It's still in Season 5 after this, whatever.
We thought that Reunion was the Season 5 finale. Oops.
But we're also going to, because of the content of this episode, we're also going to be covering how we would fix Steven Universe as a whole.
Yeah.
Because,
go ahead.
We like Steven Universe. We really do. It's just flawed.
It's developing some flaws, especially now with Legs from Here to Homeworld. Look, this is the episode where we finally meet White Diamond. And skipping ahead to that, I actually like the idea behind White Diamond. I like that she's got this passive-aggressive thing going on.
I like that she's visually and viscerally different than any villain we've seen before.
She's different.
In the show.
She's there's hints that she's very vicious underneath. Her pearl is all messed up. Like maybe she's been abusing her pearl.
Her pearl has her voice.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Well, yeah, same voice actress.
So there's some interesting material there, and definitely going to be a scary villain in the end, but it is kind of hiding her scariness. That's all cool. Getting to that, though.
It starts off with...
I'll just say, the quick summary is just that this may be my least favorite episode of Steven Universe. Even though it had this awesome moment of finally White Diamond, but there's so much that doesn't fit and doesn't work, and you skipped over, and maybe it was compressed from its originally intended form, that now we're going to take it apart.
See, I thought Onion Friend was worse, but that's only because I thought that was a really stupid episode.
I mean, I'm willing to accept... I can forgive a lot more weirdness in the slice of life bits, because, okay, life is weird sometimes, but when you're doing the big, important stuff, I needed the characters to fit and make sense, and we'll get to why that didn't make sense.
Okay, so the episode starts off right where Reunion... Well, not quite, because...
Maybe a few hours after?
Maybe a few minutes.
Because it shows Blue Diamond picking up Steven and snuggling him, saying, "Oh, Pink, we're so glad you're alive." Which, okay, out of character moment number one, which member of the Crystal Gems would let the Diamonds get within 50 yards of Steven without pulling out their goddamn weapons? Greg should have... The last time Greg was within 100 feet of Blue Diamond, he was kidnapped and taken to the human zoo. His reaction should be pointing the laser light cannons and saying, "Make my day, bitch. Make my day. Put down my fucking son. Make my day."
I'm willing to let that slide just because, something happened right in the moment, and Steven was obviously trying to make peace with them. But there should be tension with the Diamonds in the next few minutes after everyone's had a chance to think about things.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, since Sonic just said, this is my least favorite episode of Steven Universe, guess what doesn't happen? I'll give you a hint.
Girl in the
that.
God. Oh. That?
Well, no, not Girl in the God. That would be amazing.
That's just it. If it doesn't happen, then it's not the best. All right.
Well, okay, so they start going, "Why didn't you tell us?" And Steven doesn't answer.
He doesn't exactly know why Rose didn't tell them things, and he himself only found out about this recently.
But he doesn't say any of that. He says, "I'm actually my own person. I go by Steven now."
Oh, your memories must still be inside of you somewhere.
Right.
Oh well, guess we're moving on from that topic.
Yeah, what the hell? Okay, my biggest problem is probably Yellow. Because Yellow Diamond, it has been established, is Hitler. She made plans to blow up the entire planet and kill everybody,
and
which is a big deal.
And let's not forget that Jungle Moon episode where Stevani got to see a memory of Yellow Diamond conducting the invasion and extermination of all life on a planet and treating it like it was another day at the office.
Yeah.
Look, exterminatus should not be something you do on an outpatient basis. Even in Warhammer 40,000, they treated the exterminatus order very seriously.
Wow, yeah, that's... If you can compare yourself to Warhammer 40k, that's saying
If you
something.
compare yourself to Warhammer 40k, and you come out looking worse,
Stop doing things!
I mean, I don't recall any sign that that planet's life had been sapient.
Yes, actually there was.
Oh, was there? Dang.
She was talking to Nephrite, strongly implied to be centipedal, pre-corruption.
Oh, I didn't even connect
and
that.
About how we're experiencing resistance from the natives. Of course you are. Of course you're experiencing resistance from the natives.
Okay.
We're invading the planet.
Yeah, alright, that's evil. That's very evil.
Yeah.
I totally forgot some of that stuff.
Oh, no, it's okay. I have a photographic memory for stupid shit people do.
Yes. Anyway, and also underscore, though, with Earth, when Peridot calls her and begs her to call off the death machine, the cluster.
While Peridot is saying, now I know you guys want this to happen, but I think that there are unique resources on this planet that would be lost if we were to convert it into a colony or to blow it up. Yellow Diamond's response is, I don't give a shit. I want that planet to die.
Yeah. So, and that worked fine for that episode. Okay, we get it. Yellow Diamond is evil, conqueror, Hitler type. Great. And I'm willing to buy that, having found out that Steven is essentially Pink's son, that she's not willing to kill Steven because she has some loyalty to Pink, who I'm going to refer to as her sister. I think of the Diamonds as sisters, and the Pink is the youngest. Okay, fine. But how does she feel about the Crystal Gems, who launched a rebellion against her for like 1,000 years? I mean, against Blue, but then Yellow and whatever. The both of them, essentially. Or how does she feel about Rose Quartz, who led that rebellion? And when Steven casually mentions that Pink became Rose and Rose became him, you think she'd stop him a third of the way through that sentence and say, I'm sorry, what? Pink, you turned into Rose? You betrayed your people? You launched a war against us? Crap happened? I feel upset about this. No, she doesn't feel upset about that. She's like, shrug, whatever, on all of that. Not even upset that this whole cluster project just got, undone or whatever.
Or that the cluster is openly rebelling against the Diamonds.
Yeah.
Presumably due to these stupid Rebel Gems influence.
Right.
Hey, wait a minute. Why is it that I'm the one who's not getting mad and you are? Usually I'm the one that gets really... I am the McCoy here, you're the Spock, usually.
Well, I want the character development to work. I'm cool with people using the non-violent approach and everything, but if you've established that somebody is Hitler, I need them to go through a serious redemption arc before I can believe it. Like Zuko taking a long time to turn into a good guy.
Yeah, it took most of The Last Airbender... The series, not the...
Yeah.
Not the...
No, not the thing that shall not be named.
Except that I just named it.
Oh, no!
It took most of the series for him to become a good person.
Right.
And guess what? People still didn't trust him. The comics revealed that there were rebellions against him and assassination attempts within a year.
Right.
Even from his own people.
There's a lot of material to explore there, and, we've had people converted to good side before. We had Peridot, but Peridot at least had an arc. She was uncooperative, and then she was cooperating only to save her own skin because the cluster was going to kill her too. And then eventually she full-on joins the Crystal Gems, and there was a bit in the middle there where you thought maybe she was going to betray us and just join up again with Yellow Diamond's forces or something. So that was much more satisfying. Here we have Yellow Diamond herself. Let me flash back a moment. Remember when Garnet found out they were doing gem fusion stuff with like the things with just two, like the fusing the shards.
Yes.
Not just regular fusion. And she was pissed because
she was so furious she nearly unfused just out of sheer rage.
Yeah.
Or because the clusters were doing something to her.
I'm pretty sure it was sheer emotion.
It could have been both, really, just because the clusters are weird.
Well, there's one cluster, but then there's a little mini clusters. Whatever. The point is, she was pissed off because A, it was a violation of everything fusion's supposed to stand for, which is very personal to her, and B, these were crystal gems. She says explicitly, these were our friends who have been shattered and are now being morphed into Frankenstein monstrosities. And we are pissed off.
No, they are not Frankenstein monstrosities. They are Frankenstein zombie monstrosities.
Oh, of course.
Because they want to recover the lost parts of themselves.
Right.
So yes, they are hungering for brains.
Oh my gosh.
And legs and other parts of them.
Right. Anyway, very, very upset, and it made sense she would be upset. Now she is standing right next to Yellow Diamond, who orchestrated that whole thing, and, did I mention, tried to blow up the Earth, and doesn't make one comment about this. Not even a side glance of, like, I'm feeling pissed, but I'm holding it in for some reason. No, like, nah, we're just hanging around like everything's fine. And the worst we get is Bismuth is, like, mildly annoyed at them taking off on a ship to go to Homeworld, but she's like, it's fine. You guys go on your ship, and I'll stay behind. I got other stuff to do. I seem to remember Bismuth was homicidal before. Do you remember this other Bismuth?
Yes.
The one who was willing to murder Steven/Rose because she was pissed off at how things had gone with the war.
The one who was willing to develop a weapon of, like, basically a terror weapon that was handheld mounted, capable of shattering diamonds.
Right.
Explicitly for shattering diamonds so
Yeah.
that they could bring an end to the war sooner.
The
one who hated Homeworld so much that she constantly mouthed off about how awful Homeworld elites are.
And the one that, like, one episode previously confronted her friend Biggs, who has been transformed into a monstrosity by the diamonds, and is presumably suffering in that state, at least in some way, and is really upset about that. And then she meets the actual people who did that, and is like, yeah, I mean, whatever, fine, you
I
got
don't
stuff
trust
to do.
him, but
I don't
you
trust
do
him.
you,
Yes,
Steven.
okay. You know what this is? This is, we've met two entirely new characters named Pink and Blue. Yellow and Blue. And, they're like, oh, some gems from somewhere else, we've never seen them before, but maybe they can help. And okay, Bismuth is a little mistrustful because she doesn't know them personally, but the rest of them are willing to give him a chance. That would work well if these were brand new characters. They're not!
Okay, we're talking a lot about Yellow Diamond. Let's not forget that Blue didn't give a fuck that the cluster was about to blow up the Earth.
That's true.
And whose solution to, okay, Pink likes humans is kidnap humans from Earth to turn into basically human cattle who exist solely to exist.
Yeah, I mean, she's better than Yellow, but not by much.
She's better, but only in that she doesn't do crap, even when there are things she could do.
Frankly, it's so you have Yellow is Hitler, and Blue is at best still just a Holocaust bystander who could have stopped things and didn't bother.
She's like the head of Vichy of the French puppet
The
government.
Vichy government. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just like, well, I mean, this is sad. Maybe I'll save way less than 1% of you. Shrug.
Oh God.
And
everyone just kind of goes with this. The
Everyone
biggest
goes
thing
with
we get is, okay, they cured Centipedal very briefly, but they couldn't make it stick. Amethyst is like, what? And I think that's a very close approximation to how she actually sounds. Although I don't even know why she's making that sound. It was implied that Steven could heal them because he was a diamond. Now you have 3 diamonds working together and it mostly cures it. Wow, what a surprise. It's doing exactly what we thought it would do.
I don't know what that line was doing, but, like, their first order of business is, hey, let's go cure the corrupted gems. Which, by the way, is not an urgent thing that needs to be dealt with right now. We could deal with the whole, hey, wait, Rose/Pink/Steven, you betrayed us, and hey, Yellow, you tried to kill us all, and hey, Blue, you were a bystander, and hey, my name's Bismuth, and this is the shattering point, and hey, like...
Breaking point.
Like, there's a lot of stuff that could happen right here.
Curing the corrupted gems on my list would rank somewhere in between dislikes the primary font of Homeworld's text. It's the Homeworld equivalent of Comic Sans, by the way, because they are evil. And we're concerned that the wreckage of your ships might count as pollution. Somewhere in between there on list of shit that I give a fuck about.
Yeah, because, I mean, I'm sure we all want to cure the corrupted gems, but, like, can you trust these people at all to, like, I don't know, not kill everyone here?
Not instantly raise their hands and just turn everything to ash?
Yeah.
They're diamonds.
They were doing that one episode ago. There's been no reason for them to particularly change their mind. I wonder if there had been plans for many more episodes to cover this, and they got messed with by executive meddling, and they had to hurry up things because they wanted to do the movie, and for some reason the movie is all about white, so let's get to white. But even if you had to deal with strong constraints like that, for heaven's sake, give me a time skip and say, like, 6 months later, and be like, all right, so apparently there was a lot of discussions in the meantime. We have flashbacks of brief things that have happened and the tensions they've worked through, and maybe, just maybe now, they're kind of willing to work together in some way.
And if we got that instead, we'd still bitch about it
Yeah,
because we didn't see any of the character development.
But at least, like, it would imply, like, all right, we understand this is a hard thing. We're talking to Hitler. This is not, you know... Again, Peridot got more time developed in her conversion process than did Yellow. It does not work for me. And granted, Yellow's not, like...
Peridot learning that insulting people got more time than Yellow's redemption arc here.
I mean, I guess they're maybe not thinking of Yellow as being redeemed exactly, but, like, why is she cooperating with all this? Why are we cooperating with her? Why are we willing to talk so easily? Why is no one upset? Steven, do you realize that Beach City would be dead by now if Yellow had gotten her way? Like, don't you care about everybody here in Beach City?
Fuck Beach City. Everyone
in
the
the world, right?
would be dead.
Right.
They created an abomination.
If it were somehow revealed that, you know, and this would have had to imply different scenes in the past episodes, but if it were somehow revealed that Yellow didn't know there was sapient life on Earth, or didn't realize the cluster was going to blow things up, and it was supposed to do something else, but it went haywire, then I could understand. But she was very clear on the kill 'em all approach.
Does Connie have a single line in this entire episode?
I think she had like 2. Didn't say her parents were saying goodbye. I think she said something to them.
Yeah, okay. Connie, who is a human, who is one of the people who will be affected by this. Fuck the gems. The gems could probably just survive in the wreck in the floating asteroid debris. Yeah. But Connie should be concerned about this. Greg should be concerned about this.
You know what I would have loved? A scene where Steven is working too hard to be nice with Yellow and Blue, and then Connie screams at him for it. Steven, seriously, I know you want to be friends with everybody, but these people just tried to kill me, my mom, my dad, and everyone on the boardwalk, not to mention the rest of the planet, and she has to put him in his place, and he has to go like, you know what, right, I cannot trust these people. You know, they've got a lot of sins to make up for.
No, they don't have sins, they have entire... If they were forced to recite 1,000 sins per second to St. Peter, they would be there for millennia.
Something like that.
These are genocidal dictators.
Yeah, you do not just make friends all of a sudden. And I'm glad to have a show with a big emphasis on making friends with people, but I don't want it to be so damn simple that just feels fake. You know, to say the earlier episode about, remember where they did the show about, like, Dewey's greats, whatever, and the point was, hey, you need to show him in his struggles to make the thing seem realistic. This is a case that should imply a lot of struggle, a whole lot of stuff here.
It doesn't matter that they're related to Steven. I don't give a fuck that they're related to Steven.
No, neither should Steven.
If you found out that you were the son of Voldemort,
guess
what?
He's still bad. Read the comic called Runaways. That's exactly what we're talking about.
I mean, except for that black kid with the glasses. He can go fuck himself.
Oh, well, I only read the intro. I have no idea what happens later. But the premise...
He basically said... Okay, I'm not saying the black kid with the glasses needs to die because he's black. I'm saying that because he willingly betrays the entire rest of the group so he can go along with his parents' plan.
Oh, no. Spoilers for Runaways.
That's the first arc.
Oh, okay.
It's been going on
I only
for
read,
years.
like, the very beginning. All right, fine. Yeah, no, betraying the good guys is an evil thing, usually. That makes sense.
Yeah, but...
Okay, so this is all...
Andy
over.
Had more character development.
Yeah.
Fucking Andy. And he was a jackass.
I mean,
I sympathize with him a lot. You heard it in the last review, but he was a jackass.
And he had an arc within the space of an episode.
A double-part episode.
A double-part, that's right. And he... Well, you know, his deal is what? Being kind of a jerk, but understandable, and he's coded conservative, and we can deal with that, too. He hasn't attempted to kill anyone. You see, there's a very interesting dividing line in one's moral architecture.
Has not committed more murders than have ever existed.
on the Earth.
Yeah. I mean, the crystal gems who have been shattered are effectively dead. Those people are, they've been killed by Yellow Diamond's forces. And we're not gonna talk about that. Instead, we're gonna, alright, well, we can't fix corrupted gems with the three of us, who are so cooperative for some reason, so we're gonna go to Homeworld, in Pink's ship, which is a pair of legs, because apparently they work on the Megazord principle, so presumably White is the torso/head or something. And they just go to Homeworld, and everyone's pretty chill about that. And just taking a ride with Hitler, we're good. And Pearl says to Steven, she warns him off against talking to White Diamond. We can't talk to White Diamond. You have no idea what she's capable of.
Yeah, we have no idea what the rest of the shit in this show is capable of either, because you don't tell us anything, Pearl.
Okay, well.
Oh, and here's a thought. You're riding with Hitler, twin clones of Hitler, in shotgun!
Bring in Superman, and he can show them that he is a man! Boom. It's a Linkara reference. Anyway.
No, I get that. It's just...
I was explaining to the
audience.
audience.
You have Hitler on both sides of you, but no, this White Diamond is worse.
Okay, yeah, I mean, maybe... I could imagine White Diamond being even worse. That could happen, except... You've got to treat Yellow and Blue, especially Yellow, as being as bad as they are. Because otherwise I'm left with the impression we're going to meet White Diamond and she blows up 10 planets a day. But we're just going to be chill with that too, maybe. I don't know.
See, the thing about evil is you can have more than one person be evil at a time.
Yeah.
It's not someone holding the baton and going, my turn to be evil today.
Yeah.
They're still terrible people.
And
the Diamonds are awful. They are objectively terrible people.
Oh, yeah. There's
they have
no way around
no
that.
Emotional awareness. They have genocided entire planets and left stripped hulks that Alderaan wishes that wish they were as good as Alderaan was.
Yeah.
But no, thank God that we have Steven Universe, the Jesus of this show, to be able to instantly make friends with anybody.
Yeah, this is where that bit went too far, I'd admit.
This is why this episode is a two-parter for us. Not the episode legs from here to Homeworld. Because, quite frankly, okay, we didn't even get through the full episode. They go to Homeworld, White Diamond appears by bubbling Steven after showing up with her creepy-ass, freaky Pearl that's damaged in some way, implying abuse. She dismisses all of Steven's words without letting him get one goddamn sentence off and locks him in Pink Diamond's old room. The end. Smash cut. Now, you want to know why this is a two-part episode for us? You really want to know? Because the rest of it is fixing Steven Universe, because this episode is emblematic of everything that is wrong with the show. Almost everything.
And well, what has gone wrong is things that could have otherwise been good in other contexts when developed properly, and now rushed to crazy extremes, and it feels all Deus Ex Machina and flat, and the characters aren't fleshed out like they should be. In a show that cares so much about fleshing people out and showing their various sides and their emotions. In general, no, but even, I know you're going to rant a little later about everything through Steven's perspective, but Steven happens upon a lot of moments of, say, we learn about Amethyst feeling kind of ashamed that she's a runt, or we learn about how Peridot accidentally insults people and has to learn changes about that, or we learn how Ruby and Sapphire differ and sometimes they fight but they love each other. There's a lot of emotions with a lot of people. Pearl's love for Rose that went unrequited. Lots and lots of things are explored. And here was a case where they just didn't do that and skipped right over all the in-depth explanations and explorations that would have been needed to make it feel right. It felt rushed.
It didn't feel rushed. It felt incomplete.
Well, that too.
It felt wrong. It felt... I am almost insulted by this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it, but I still feel insulted just on the basis that they just did not care. Okay, I think this is the maddest we've ever gotten.
I'm not going to go over the whole history of times things have been said on the
I said
show.
we.
Oh, to get there.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten mad.
Yeah.
Nah. Okay, so the first thing that I'd like to bring up is Steven is apparently Jesus. And that Steven is capable of talking anyone to his side.
The one failure I think he was Jasper. And even then, she got merged with a corrupted gem. And that seems to be the only thing they can fight is corrupted gems. You know, like, that's what gives us an excuse for violence. Other times we might fight people briefly, like we did with the diamonds in Reunion, and then we make friends, or they happen to wander away, like Jasper initially did with the whole Malachite thing.
Or Topaz, or Aquamarine.
Yeah. You know, I would love to see Steven bump up against the limits of his philosophy. Like I said before, Connie chewing him out and saying, you cannot be this forgiving because you're ignoring all the dangers that these two pose to good people everywhere. When they were doing the end of Peridot's conversion arc, they make it look like maybe Peridot's about to betray us. And when that first happened, I thought, oh, this is interesting. Steven will have to learn. Because Garnet said explicitly, not everyone could be redeemed. And then it turns out Peridot was redeemed. Okay, I was willing to take that. But then maybe Hitler should be the one you can't redeem, right? That could be the one where Steven has to learn a hard lesson about how, as loving and kind as he wants to be, there are some times, and this applies to real world too, where you have to say to somebody, no, I cannot deal with you, I'm cutting you out of my world, or potentially throwing you in prison, because you are just that bad. You know? He's supposed to become less innocent and more mature.
But this doesn't feel more mature. This feels more childish because it seems to imply that no matter what happens, no matter who you go up against, no matter what they've done, all you have to do is talk it out and you can all get along. And I really wish that was the case. Yeah. But sometimes there are people who cannot be got along with. There are people whose ideas and morals are wrong and they believe them. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that this... There are people who take their ideals and morals and values to extremes. They can be otherwise very civil. They can otherwise be very logical. But they take those points to a point where they are unwilling to compromise, and the only way to get forward is to fight.
Right. I mean, if they've chosen the wrong ideal, if they've chosen, for instance, loyalty to nation above all else, and your nation happens to be Nazi Germany.
We're getting Godwin the hell out of
yes, this. Yes, we are, but I don't know what else to compare it to. Seriously, who else does genocide on this scale?
Russia.
Stalin, yeah, okay. But yeah, it's, you know, about that maturity, about learning how to do things with more complexity and nuance. Steven has matured in the past in good ways. I love the episode Mr. Greg, where he's figured out enough about the tension between Greg and Pearl, and then he gets them to talk it out. And that's a situation you reasonably could talk out. No one was abusing each other. They just had a lot of tension over the whole Rose thing and their past and so forth. And wow, Steven was managing that. Where in the first episode, you know, all he could do was think about his favorite ice cream and so forth. Like, he had grown a lot. This is good. But this bit here was so Deus Ex Machina-esque, it does feel like childish thinking. It somehow wins, because we said so. You know. And that's not maturity there. That's just, well, hand-waving by the authors, who, again, I hope had a better plan for this. Maybe not necessarily, when I say they could have had a better plan, I'm not just saying, oh, maybe Yellow Diamond converted and we took time to do it. Maybe this Yellow Diamond does not convert and remains an enemy to the end of the show. You know? I could imagine her at the end of Reunion saying, oh, wow, Steven, you know, you're Rose and so forth. And they have like 2 minutes of fairly productive talk at the beginning of this episode. And then Yellow says casually, all right, well, Pink, it's glad to have you back. And now it's time to get done destroying the rest of the Earth. And Steven's like, no, wait, you can't do that. And then they fight, and then, you know, hopefully they've got some method of forcing her off planet and saving us and everything. And Steven has to learn a lesson, as we keep saying, about how, like, there are some things you just have to fight for.
The rest of it's just really upsetting, because it wants to be more mature. Yet we keep finding that Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra are consistently more mature.
That's a good... Yeah, because we were talking about this before, and I wanted to make a comparison with Aang. Aang wants to be very peaceful. He wants to talk people out. He bothered to help bridge the Great Divide in that early episode. He likes to use tricky. I liked it, but whatever.
I liked it too, but everyone hates it for some reason. Literally, it tops almost every fan's list of least favorite episodes of Avatar.
Well, I know they made fun of it in one of the later episodes.
Yeah, that's because fans hated it so much that they complained.
All right, well,
he's technically filler.
So he's more of a guile hero, uses trickery and stuff instead of just pummeling people. But Aang felt more fleshed out. Aang didn't have a wall banger moment like this one with legs from here to Homeworld. He had a thing where he was really confronting the idea he might have to kill a man. He might have to kill Fire Lord Ozai.
Okay.
And accepted that it might be necessary after struggling with it a lot. And then ends up not killing him, but also doesn't manage to convert him to the side of good.
Okay, and admittedly, that was a little... Him finding out that it was a lion turtle, and the lion turtle magically being able to give him energy-bending powers, that was a little bit Deus Ex Machina.
A little bit. But damn, that battle was cool enough to help make up for it, right?
Exactly.
And this battle was mostly Steven in nether space, or whatever we're going to call that.
Yeah, it's this weird... Okay, so they both have Deus Ex Machina winnings so that they don't have to do actual killing.
But Aang felt more real,
Aang
even
felt
with the
more
plot
real,
on his side.
Partially because he had to... I know Steven did that too. I don't know. Aang just felt more real and mature because you can tell with Steven, he had no hesitation in his mind. I'm not going to kill these people because no one shatters anyone in the crystal gems don't shatter people. That's not who they are.
I would love to see it. They get into a fight with the diamonds, perhaps after the revelation, because they fight again anyway. And Steven ends up merging with Connie. They do the Stevani bit, and they end up stabbing Yellow and poofing her somehow. Right? Doesn't have to kill her, but poofed her. And they defuse upon doing that, and Steven's kind of freaking out because he really wanted to talk it out and so forth. And then we could have the conversation no, seriously, Steven, we can't do that. And then the writers could still have their non-lethal ending if you want to do that, but it would just have more depth than this, where everyone is suddenly okay with everything.
You're okay with a person who has killed more people, more organic life.
You gotta make a comparison with, the Slovene from Doctor Who, right? They did a plan. They were gonna blow up the Earth with nukes, and that didn't work. And then the one that got away, whatever her name was, had another plan to blow up the Earth with a different method, and they captured her.
And she kept on saying, "Oh, but I've changed. I haven't. There was a woman who was pregnant, and I spared her life."
And you were gonna blow up the Earth, bitch. You were gonna kill that woman too. You spared her for all of 6 days or whatever long it was gonna take for your plan to go together.
Yeah, and the Doctor even points it out. Yeah, you were going to kill her anyways.
Yeah.
So he doesn't give her a pass on that,
right?
Which is what Steven Universe shouldn't do either.
And so the cop out in that episode, because what they do in that episode, Doctor Who, is thoughts on the death penalty. Because if they turn her over to the authorities, she's going to be executed, and they're all kind of awkward about it. Now, honestly, I feel like you could bring her into somebody who can do a competent trial, and we'll all double check we have the right person and procedures, and then yes, having not only tried to kill the world once, but 2 times, with a gap in the middle where you could have reasonably lived a life as a private citizen and been free and been a nice person, and you gave up on that chance. We kind of need to kill you at this point just to save the world from your 3rd attempt, which is apparently coming. I'm not a big fan of the death penalty, but this is an extreme case. The way they did the cop-out in the show was, thanks to some mumbo-jumbo with the TARDIS, she ends up getting restored to an egg, because as an alien she was originally an egg, and now they can essentially give her to a family, and she'll be reborn, and she'll get to be raised again, and she won't have any memory of her sins. You remember all that?
I forgot that. I thought she died.
No, they got transformed into an egg, which is a cop-out thing. But you know what? That cop-out makes more sense than this. If we had a magic thing that erased all of Yellow Diamond's memories, and she was not really the bad person she was anymore, because now she has a chance to start over, it would be a cop-out, but at least, okay, maybe we could make friends with this new person. but it's not a new person. It's the old person who hasn't gone through any sort of conversion, whether natural or being persuaded or just magic nonsense. Nothing has changed, and we're just gonna pretend like she's changed. And that is the worst cop-out.
I don't think I need to say anything at this point. I don't think I've spoken in 10 minutes.
Yes. This has been brewing in my head since I saw the episode.
I genuinely do not think I've ever seen you this mad at anything in the entire history of our show.
Yeah, maybe. You're right. Maybe. Because even, like, really bad things, we've been mostly laughing at it than getting mad at it. And that's it. When you watch, say, that terrible movie, The Last Airbender, and it's just ridiculous from the get-go, and you can just be laughing at it, that's kind of one thing. But this, where Steven Universe has been so good in so many prior moments, I want it, well, maybe I like it more than you, but I want it to keep being that good, or to raise to higher heights even, and then it falls so flat so quickly, that just, it feels like a betrayal of an ideal, you know? And I'm maybe, again, the writers had to deal with some stupid deadline or executive mumbo-jumbo that screwed everything up. I don't know. I'm trying not to be mad at them personally, but I would hope that they would look at this episode too and say, you know what, there is a serious problem here. I'll keep watching to see what happens next.
Oh yeah, I mean, the rest of the show so far has been okay, but here's the other problem that I have with Steven Universe. The focus on Steven Universe.
Oh yeah, this is the other bit.
See, my thing is that the writers have this thing where every single episode, every single moment has to be all about Steven and his growth and his experiences. Because of that, anytime that we go away from Steven for any point of time, it's another character describing their actions to Steven.
Yes.
Or him being fused to someone else.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with that. It removes a lot of potentially really amazing scenes from the show. In fact, if they kept that, there's like one of very few times they've ever gone away from that. And that was when Garnet was going to fight against Jasper on the ship in Jailbreak. And that gave us the awesome song Stronger Than You, which is easily my favorite song in the entire frickin' show.
Yeah, I can see why.
But don't worry, guys. We didn't even go the whole song without going back to Steven. Because we cut back to Steven watching Garnet fight on a TV. Thank God, we spent almost 30 seconds without having Steven watching or seeing anything interesting happening. Don't worry, guys. I know you were really concerned that this fat little sack of bastard is...
Hey, he's generally a good character.
I'm just... he's a good character. Here's the problem. He steals all the screen time.
Yeah, he does steal all the screen time.
Remember Onion Friend?
Yeah.
Onion Friend was a bad episode. It is my least favorite episode of Steven Universe.
Okay.
Because of how much potential it just throws in the gutter. It just takes it, pisses on it, sets it on fire, and throws it away. Because we've seen in previous episodes from flashbacks that the gems do not get along with other humans. They try to avoid them if at all possible. So here's what we learn, that Amethyst was really good friends with Vidalia. This is an amazing thing to learn, that Greg was not the only human that they've ever interacted with. That the Amethyst had friends that helped her grow as a person. And what's better is that this is an episode where Amethyst is going to be talking to Vidalia, a human friend with a unique perspective on the world as a former single mother and who has now married another person and is raising a child of her own, on interpersonal conflicts, specifically the one between Garnet and Pearl because of the Sardonyx incident. And how Amethyst wants to get away from that and have just someone to talk to that isn't a child, Greg, or the people involved. She's going to this friend of hers and wants to know how she can stand this. Thank God we got none of that. I mean, I am just so happy that the Crooniverse decided, fuck that. What we really need to see is Steven watching a video of Onion being born. Or discovering the secret room where Onion keeps his action figures. or Onion sticking a live rat in his mouth. Because that was what we needed to... We, as the audience, were in desperate need of. Thank God. Who cares about that amethyst or whoever the fuck her name is? Remember, Onion is the name of the third crystal gem. Except no, he's not. He's some little fuck that we don't give a shit about.
I would like to see a parallel episode where we get to see what Amethyst was up to in that or any other circumstance.
But we won't get that because now that conflict has passed by, so we're not going to get that unless Amethyst decides to randomly say, "Hey, Steven, want me to recall this time when I was really emotionally distraught and so I talked to Vidalia about extremely private things that I don't talk about with anyone?" All right. She wouldn't do that because that's not what she is.
Yeah, I know they wanted to do a lot about Steven's own growth, and a lot comes from his perspective, and that's fine, but A, variety for its own sake is great, and B, Steven, having grown so much already, I think might be running out of room to grow, and I would love to explore other characters who've got more room.
Oh, and here's the other episode that really pisses me off. The Zoo. Okay, the Zoo was an okay at best episode. Honestly, it was just kind of boring.
You said so in the original review, yeah.
Yeah. Here's the problem, though. Amethyst is there. Amethyst is, while Steven's going through this boring-ass journey where he meets humans with the same mentality as cattle, Amethyst is meeting her family for the first time, discovering that she's not alone, and that just because she's an amethyst or whatever, quartz, she's a quartz, like Jasper is, she doesn't have to be like Jasper. That there are people who are just like her. And that gives her a confidence boost that is evident in later episodes. Well, thank fucking God we didn't get any of that. Instead, okay, you can just imagine the episode practically writes itself.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, imagine Amethyst getting shoved by Holly Blue Agate into the Amethyst's quarter, and she's just pretending to be all big and strong before she's forced to de-transform, and they start asking her questions and interrogating her because they think she's a spy from another diamond, or worse, a rebel or a traitor, and she reveals that she's from Earth, and finally one of them goes, "Wait, you're from... the hole you came out of, it was next to that rock," and he shapeshifts into that rock.
Yeah.
And Amethyst is like, "Yeah, that's the sitting rock," referencing the rock that she pointed out.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh my God, guys, this is 8XM!" And they start hugging her and crying. They're so happy because we waited for you and you didn't show up. And she's all crying and she's like, "I was 500 years late." And it's a big emotional thing. And you can imagine all of this, how it sounds, how they would act, and how everything would go on. And the amethysts and the other gems showing, "Oh yeah, you like to do the spin dash attack thing? We like to do it too. Except we like to do it like this." Yeah. And it helps Amethyst improve.
Yeah.
Well, thank God we didn't get any of that. And we instead got a thing about Greg having to reject having sex with a dude. Thank you, God. We avoided that. The threat of Amethyst potentially having something interesting happen to her. My God. Can you just imagine? We could have lost out on Greg eating fruit. I mean, that is a consequence we cannot countenance.
No.
Amethyst almost did something interesting. Jesus God, we have to stop that.
Right, I mean, obviously, there have been Amethyst moments, but yeah, you're right. She could do more off the Steven leash, as it were. She could have more interactions that don't have to involve... Everyone could have potentially more things going on without Steven being around.
Okay, and since the major character mysteries behind both Pearl and Garnet are done, we can have Garnet-centric episodes that aren't related to Steven imagining that he's Garnet in an anime.
Yeah, though that was a fun episode. But
okay, it was a fun episode and I did like it. But I'm just saying, now we can see Garnet going through the day and doing her own shit. Now that we know that Pearl is Rose Quartz's Pearl, was Pink Diamond's Pearl, we can see her doing her own things without her accidentally spilling some clue for some mystery.
Yeah, I'd like that.
But you know what the biggest loss that I've seen is? Onion Friend. But the third biggest loss, Lars.
Yeah.
I mentioned this last time, but just, he is now a space pirate. dealing on a daily basis with Emerald and other gems who want to destroy him and his off-color friends, who will no doubt shatter them. Make sure that they will die horrible deaths. And we've seen what happens when people who rebel against the diamonds get shattered. They don't even have the dignity of resting in peace. If they are lucky, they will rest in peace. But it's also possible they will be used as horrible gem fusion experiments. This is a threat. And all the while, Lars is trying to get back to Earth. Well, thank God we don't see that.
Well, you mentioned to me earlier an idea that suppose one of the let's say White Diamond even assigns people to go find this stupid human that's running around in their territory. So Emerald's on the case, and then she assigns Holly, Blue, Agate, because you're like an expert on humans, right? You run the zoo. And then the two of them, Holly and Emerald, have like a whole, tension between them and like misunderstandings about how humans work. Yeah.
Holly's because she's trying to just do her job for her glorious diamonds, and Emerald thinks that she's being replaced, even though she sort of is, but she's still trying to assert her dominance over Holly, Blue, Agate. And just so many great opportunities for stories to be told there. You could, honestly, I don't give a crap about Sadie and the Usual Suspects, or whatever the hell her band's name is. I don't care that Mayor Dewey is now, because that's what we all wanted to know. Now that Sadie left the Big Donut and Lars is in space, who's manning the donut shop? Because, when people say the big spoilers, they list that up. Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father. It was his sled.
And that Dewey gets to man the donut shop.
Who will be manning the donut shop? Well, just thank you for that load off my mind.
All right, so part of what we're dealing with there, too, though, is the basic tension of the show between the actiony sci-fi stuff and the slice of life stuff. I found it kind of heartwarming to see how the town was changing, and Dewey found a job that's clearly more suited for him. And Sadie has this little bit, finding a band, and also a relationship with her mother's developed a bit more. And also, space pirates are awesome, and I'd like to see that too.
Look, I get the appeal of the slice of life stuff. It's just that every time I'm watching, like, Ronaldo making Terror on the boardwalk, or trying to show the gems his gemsona, or observing the skies looking for diamond craft. Actually, no, scratch that last one. Or, sour cream trying to be a DJ. I just keep thinking, there are literal space monsters trying to kill you.
Yeah, that's been baked into the premise, at least. Right from the beginning, the gems were superheroes, and everyone was like weirdly chill about it. And you're like, all right, this is just the premise. People are chill about superheroes and monsters and stuff, which they amped up a little. Eventually, that one time get evacuated at one time, and like, hey, we need a new mayor. But in general, yeah, they're living as though crazy stuff isn't happening that often.
There was a JonTron episode about a terrible 90s video game called Wally Bear and the No Gang about saying no to drugs. Yeah. And after getting through a sewer level that ended very trippily, he comes across a character that is a rabbit and who says to him, "Watch out, I saw this guy with a bag handing out pills that looked like candy, but they weren't candy." To which JonTron said, "Okay, yes, that's interesting, but are you aware that our subway passes through that our city is built on top of an underground demon fortress, and our subway just runs right through that? You know what? No. You know what? Point me to the guy. I'll take some pills. If there's some acetaminophen to take care of the headache this game has given me." Just, there is a difference between I don't care that there's a superhero in town, and there is actual shit you should be really scared of.
Yeah, that's never gonna make sense. Yeah.
There is a magical temple filled with sentient space rocks living down the street from you people. Be impressed, damn it!
Yeah, well, frankly, Doctor Who is something similar, which is why in the 11th run they came up with this idea of erasing things from time to make it more plausible why society is still operating as it usually does when people have witnessed giant ships come down and a third of the world got mind controlled one time, and like everyone's cool with that, I guess. There are several.
Which is why I abandoned it, because
yeah, I understand some of that. There's another similar tension in Stranger Things. Have you even seen that?
no, I haven't.
All right. Well, just so you know, they're trying to do like 80s, small town stuff, and also monsters running around. And in that case, they keep it more to a masquerade, and only a few people know what's going on. But there are a lot of stories that run into this tension. We want to explore the real world, but also let's do something crazy and wild.
See, I've never been a fan of the Okay, if it's a masquerade, that I can understand. If there's like an agency keeping this shit under wraps, fine. If there is no masquerade, then actions should have consequences.
That'd be nice.
If Lando Malari makes a deal with Mr. Morden, that's going to be consequences for him doing that. Oh, wait. There were consequences. It launched the galaxy into the Shadow War. Oh, yeah, right. That's Babylon 5. That's a good show. If Steven and Alexandrite walk down the street, I want to see people concerned that there is a little boy next to a monster.
Well, man, remember they brought Alexandrite to
Right.
dinner?
And
they used to have to laugh. Like, that was just so over-the-top silly.
yeah, but then that doesn't make sense in a later episode, because remember the hospital episode?
What about it?
Okay, the only explanation I can assume is that Dr. Maheshwaran is a fucking idiot. That's the only explanation.
Wait, yeah. The bit where he doesn't have a
Okay.
heartbeat or something.
He doesn't have a heartbeat. Oh, yes, he doesn't have a heartbeat. He also has 8 arms and no head. Why is no heartbeat the first thing you see? Also, this is clearly a mutant. It's clearly not a human.
No.
Oh, but apparently, this is just, she's really stupid because she's like, oh, here's this kaiju with 12 arms crawling over the mountain to eat dinner with us. Oh, and she has 2 mouths, one of which is ringed with fangs. Oh, so where do you work? Oh, I work at an apple orchard for picking apples. Okay, that seems plausible.
That was,
No,
what?
there is a difference between being ignorant of the masquerade and being just fucking stupid.
I think what they may have done there, kind of unintentionally, is they took Steven's naive view of things and just spread it to other people.
No, there's a difference between being naive and there is a kaiju trying to eat breadsticks.
Oh no, the breadsticks. What shall we do? Yeah, I know.
Oh my god.
There's a
God.
lot of things that don't make sense, although that's true.
No, I mean, it's just... Okay, just have people give a shit.
Yeah.
That's my third change.
No.
The first one is that Steven needs to grow the fuck up. Second is that Steven needs to get less fucking screen time. And third, people need to start paying the fuck attention!
I'll give you that.
Fourth is more Lapis Lazuli. I love her as a character.
Well, sure. No, that was actually true. When Lapis returned for reunion, and I floated the idea that she, was too far away and didn't know that any of this was happening, and maybe she ends up meeting up with Lars somehow, and joins his crew, and they have adventures and stuff.
Wouldn't that have been a cool ending for a reunion? Like, the Diamonds are approaching, and everyone's, and then Lars's ship comes in and strafes them with its machine guns or whatever.
Yeah.
And it turns out that Lapis is right there next to Lars pointing the targets.
Yeah. Yeah, by the way, though, considering how the world and how the random civilians react, I will say that Avatar has got a much better sense of a coherent world. And you understand what people are up to and what they're concerned about and how the nations interact and so forth. And the random civilians kind of make sense in their behaviors.
Exactly. It's just...
Yeah, that's what we do. We take shows apart most of the time.
It's just so frustrating. Because this show wants to be great. It can be great. And it's just... Also, Ronaldo. I mean, he's not a great character.
I admit that. I kind of like him.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's fun to have around.
But
Silly.
I can see why people hate him. Here's the thing, though. The episode where Rocknaldo or whatever, where he just becomes a pest, he had so much potential in that episode. If he joined the Crystal Gems as a chance to learn more about them, maybe he could actually learn about the Crystal Gems. He's an internet conspiracy nut. Why not have him become a cryptozoologist? Because there'd be rumors by people of, oh, there's weird creatures here that could be like,
and someone would be corrupted gems.
They could be corrupted gems. They could be gem artifacts that have been hidden for generations, that were stolen from ancient gem temples. I mean, what happened to the gem artifacts that they used to go out and find?
I presume they found all the important ones by now. After 5,000 years, they finally got it done.
Yeah. Also, something else that really bugs me about Steven Universe, remember the episode where he found a time machine?
Yeah.
And how that was just gem technology? How did Homeworld lose the war? Just send back infinite copies of Yellow Diamond, and then boom, you win.
Well, Harry Potter had that same problem in the third book. It's like, all right, we're going to introduce this because it serves this one plot line, and then delete all time travel from the entire franchise from now on, because, frankly, it would screw up everything.
Yeah, they brought it back for Cursed Child, but I don't know much about that.
Yeah, that was after the official ending. I haven't really... I saw,
Also, the way they described time travel in the Harry Potter verse, it was less of you can change the past and more of...
You have already changed the past.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's less one thing and more fate. Like you were always going to use the time turner.
I guess, but you think they'd be living in a universe in which someone has always been going to use the time turner to go back and kill us all when we were tiny.
Yeah, but that creates paradoxes, and I'm not sure that that's actually possible using Harry Potter time travel technology.
Even just discussing it in detail would have thrown the series off balance a little. They didn't want to deal with all that.
Yeah, it's notable that Voldemort never mentioned once that he should get access to time turners.
Yeah, well, in the how it should have ended, Snape just gets a time turner, turns it 200,000 times, goes back and zaps Voldemort. And fix that problem. Paradox or no, we don't care.
Oh my god. By the way, just have to make a quick shout out for fans of Harry Potter to go watch the Dom reviews. Dom reviews the Harry Potter-thon, where he alternates between the Dom and his character, Terrence the Ravenclaw douchebag.
Oh dear.
Which, basically imagine a douchebag who is a Ravenclaw. Who is apparently Terry Boot, who was a real Ravenclaw.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Except, he's just taking the name. He's not, canonically supported. Even though that would be kind of amazing. But one thing that I really like about his reviews is that he has a very exhaustive knowledge of the differences between the movies and the books. And he has his own opinions on Severus Snape. Specifically that he was a lying sack of garbage. Who, while well acted and did perform a noble sacrifice, was still terrible.
That's a complex subject.
Yeah.
Whether or not someone could be redeemed.
It wasn't so much that he was redeemed. Okay, ultimately, he was still his actions were on the positive side, but no, he wasn't a good person. That's my opinion on the subject.
I'll have to think about it some more. It's been a while since I read Harry Potter.
Yeah, maybe we should review that sometime.
Yeah, okay. Good, possible.
Okay. Okay, so back to the subject at hand. More Ronaldo and Lapis Lazuli.
More just all the supporting cast, which again you could do better if you're untethered from Steven.
Exactly. I mean, sure, you can't always get the fusions back because, let's be honest, a lot of fusions tend to have more famous voice actors. Sugalite is Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
Sugalite is Nicki Minaj. They even lampshaded this in the Garnet has her own showroom. I mean, the Sardonyx has her own showroom where she says, wait, do we need to provide credit because she spoke?
Yeah. Yeah. Opal hasn't said anything well either. She breathed one time.
Yeah, it's not like we had a whole episode about singing about how they wanted a giant
Right,
woman
but,
or something.
Right. And that's the fun innocence of Steven Universe. He's singing about that. But yeah, this last episode just threw things off for me.
This last episode was just it was the culmination of all the problems. If we'd seen things from Bismuth's perspective, seeing how she was furious that these diamonds who made her life
She'd even
hell.
been furious from Steven's perspective, for heaven's sakes. But yeah, also if we had a whole separate thing with Bismuth, that'd be even more in depth.
No one I'd love to see, like, the diamonds going, oh my, we can't go to what, and then just Yellow Diamond falling over. Bismuth has, like, the breaking point through her gem.
God.
It's like, ha! I did remake it! Fuckers! And she kills Blue Diamond and is like, woo! Just decapitated half the leadership of Homeworld! Woo! Margarita's on me! And yes, I do believe that Bismuth drinks margaritas. Why? Because fuck you, that's why.
Yeah.
It's... Ultimately, I want to see where they're going with this.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, this is the sort of thing that feels like the beginning of the end of my liking for it.
It might be. It might be.
Like I've had things like this with other shows. My Little Pony, it was Twilight becoming an Alicorn, and then a few episodes basically confirmed that she was going to be this new star of the show, and that the other characters were basically just side characters for me. That okay, fine, but Steven Universe had a really good run, and I don't want it to be bad. But if this is the direction they're taking the show in,
I'm hoping this is the one weird one episode dork age. And then we just get to pretend that didn't happen and pull off to do more interesting things.
yeah, unfortunately, I don't think they can just pretend this never happened because, well, they revealed so much shit in this episode.
Well, yeah, with the stuff they revealed, you know, with, okay, we need White Diamond's help to save the corrupted gems, that's I can live with. We'll just have to imagine there was some other explanation for all the other stuff we complained about. Someone has to write a fanfic. A fic.
Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god.
And also Steven summons S.H.I.E.L.D. from Marvel.
Dun, 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 dun. That is a good song, though. That is a really good song. Okay, well, I think we've just...
I think we basically took it apart. Yeah.
Yep.
So let's see what happens next. Thanks for listening.
Okay, thanks. Anyways, I'm Sith King.
I'm Sock Sense.
Signing off.